Do you read me over?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me over?
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower, Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. I say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah!
Get some morale, everybody. What's going on? Usually I would say Friday Night Eve, maybe Friday. It's almost the weekend. I think today is it's a very weird. It's been a weird couple of days for me, especially around this time. Certain anniversaries just kind of hit me really hard. So let me get all the pleasantries out of the way. As I usually talk, the show's all brought to you by, what I do, helping vets, families, and just about anybody in the financial side of things. And it's something that I can help you so I can achieve your financial goals. I would love to have a conversation, and if it makes sense, great. And I also advocate, usually as well, in regards to putting your claim, because it's really important that you go out there and basically at the end of the day, claim the benefits and things that you earn by serving in this great nation of ours. I've actually had a conversation with not only a fellow listener, but a good friend of mine who I've been helping with his claims and benefits. So far, we've been able to double his compensation as well. And then another friend of mine who I've been helping finally got his PNT. So not a promise, just saying that I can help you. I show you how to fish and do those things, because it doesn't really matter where you're at. I mean, you've earned them. So take advantage of it, as well as, get seen and taken care of by the VA system. It's not perfect, but it's the only system we got. So, and I just want to send a huge shout out to Brian Colburn, who's over the many years that we've known each other. He's helped me put the show together, as well as being able to put my voice out there, so that I can have a conversation with you for 30, 40 minutes each week. So and if you want to get a good coaching, take yourself to the next level, I highly recommend that you shoot Brian Colburn a DM through his website at sitchradio.com. And I'll have a conversation with him. So, and if you like the show, you've been following my show for the last couple of years, I appreciate if you go to, not just on my Facebook page and on my other channels, TikTok, YouTube, as well as Instagram and everything that's in the show description. Please help me out. Please help the analytics. I don't get paid. I don't make anything out of this. I just do it because I want to share information and have a chat with you. So, but today, this is a show, especially today's show, it's just something, remember the day that once unified us, now pressed alongside shocking political violence that pretty much that rips our social fabric out there. Along with the tragic killing of Charlie Kirk. It just shows how deeply polarized and dangerous things have become within our nation. However, before we get started, I'd like to do a minute of silence in remembrance of 9/11. Thank you so much. I'll try not to lose my cookies, but it's just that certain anniversaries really hit home. And as I answered a post on my daughter's Facebook page earlier today, it just I remember like that day like it was yesterday, and I'll kind of summarize my what I put on her Facebook. But it was that morning, and our neighbor from next door, the Olivers, that was their last name. Her husband was a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps. I believe I was still a sergeant. I was working I was part of the active duty personnel at a reserve duty command. In the Army, they call it AGR, Active Guard Reserves. So basically, we're assigned there as permanent personnel to help the reservists when they come on their weekends and their 2 weeks of the year in preparation of their logistics, so on and so forth. Anyways, Marita came over and she banged on our door and literally she said, "Hey, we're under attack. Turn on your TVs." As she's banging on the door, and I opened like, "What's going on?" She goes, "Turn on your TV." And the first tower had just been hit, and I just remember, just kind of standing there frozen. My kid's mom got up and what's going on, and I was like, check this out. I think I was holding my daughter at the time; she was a baby. I was holding her. My son was, still very young to kind of understand, what was going on. It was just crazy. And then after a while, after we were just watching this and all the news channel, I think it was NBC, we just commented, "Hey, the first tower," and everything going on. Then we saw the second plane hit the other tower, and we're like, and I was just, what the fuck? And obviously after the towers collapsed and just everything else, not only that, a while after, we were all recalled back to the unit because in the event that, who knows what was going to happen, if we're going to get called up to go God knows where in preparation, getting things ready in case we were standing up and going to war or whatever else. So that's pretty crazy, and in such a day that it just, not comparing to what happened in 1916 when JFK was murdered, but it's just, we lost innocence on that day. We lost innocence on this day, on this particular day as well. And let me just go over the timeline. Early morning, hijackers board plane at 5:45 a.m. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 19 hijackers board 4 commercial flights. American Airlines Flight 11 from Boston to LA. United Airlines Flight 175 from Boston to LA. American Airlines Flight 77 from Dulles, Washington to LA. And then United Airlines Flight 93 from New York to San Francisco. Flight 11 at 8:14 a.m. Flight 11 is hijacked. 8:46 a.m. Flight 11 crashes into the North Tower of the World Trade Center between the 93rd and 99th floor. The impact instantly kills hundreds and traps more above. Flight 175, South Tower, 9:03 a.m. Flight 175 crashes into the South Tower or World Trade Center 2 between 77th and 85th floors. Millions watching on live TV, including myself. Now it's confirmed America is under attack. And the national response begins at 9:05 a.m. President George W. Bush is informed America's under attack. He's at a school in Sarasota, Florida. A lot of people tend to think that, that President Bush didn't care or whatever the case may be, because he was reading a story. It was storybook time at a school. But he kept his composure. I think as leaders, especially the leader of a nation, you got to keep calm and just present a stronghold. He kept doing what he needed to do in order to, and then he addressed the nation. 9:24 a.m., FAA alerts NORAD about Flight 77, now hijacking approaching Washington, D.C. 9:26, FAA grounds all takeoffs in the U.S. airspace for the first time in history. Flight 77 on the Pentagon crashes into the Pentagon, killing 125 in the building and all 64 onboard passengers. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapses after burning for 56 minutes. It's the first steel skyscraper to collapse due to the fire and structural damage. Flight 93 crashed in Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m. into the field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Passengers, informed of the other attacks, fought back and prevented the plane from reaching its target. It's believed to be either the White House or U.S. Capitol. 10:28 a.m., North Tower collapses 102 minutes after being hit. More than 1,400 people died in this tower alone. At the end of the day, at 12:16 p.m., all 4,500 commercial aircraft in the U.S. airspace are safely land. At 1:04 p.m., President Bush declares, makes no mistake, the United States will hunt down and punish those responsible. And 8:30 p.m. in the national address, President Bush says terrorist attacks can shake the foundation of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. So what is the human toll on all this? 2,177 people are killed, including 246 passengers on the 4 planes, 2,606 in the Twin Towers surrounding the areas, 125 at the Pentagon, and 1,000 more would die in the following years. From 9/11 related illness and exposure. Why? Due to the fact that having been in the safety industry for many years, it's cumulative. When you have acute trauma, like let's say you smell a chemical, in your kitchen, and you automatically feel the burning, and you start coughing. You mixed, some cleaning agents, you're cleaning the shower, whatever. That's acute, immediate trauma. When you have cumulative trauma or long exposure over a year of times, there's been many first responders, firefighters, emergency, service members, National Guard folks that have died due to lung, stuff that it's in their lungs, including fellow New Yorkers as well who were there on that. So, and then, let's not even forget all the folks that have passed due to the simple fact that, in support of enduring freedom. So we have a lot of service members who never made it home, who sacrificed, who wrote that blank check to the United States of America in, raising their right hand. People like, and not just because this person, people like Pat Tillman, who gave up a very successful career in the NFL to, join the Army and go out there and do, and do the, basically die in the name of freedom. People like, there's another musician, I believe he was in Nirvana, another guy who just basically gave up an entire career to go serve his nation as well. And I'm just highlighting him as well as many others, fellow service members. Let's not even forget all those who, like myself, who we know may, not only do they have physical scars, being blown up, running over IEDs, getting shot, whatever else, but also the PTSD, the trauma, and all those things that they carry such a heavy burden that they've committed suicide. People like, and I'm not throwing myself on that pedestal. I'm just saying that, we're the lucky ones that came back. And, there's those of us who stayed behind. I feel like part of me is still patrolling around Iraq, driving a fucking Humvee, with some of my fire team in the back. A sequence of events. I remember talking to my dad, who at the time he was alive, was in California. And saying goodbye to him. Uh, and that, a while before I had seen him, but that was the only time. That was the only time I was going to see him, because of many other things, me being deployed and whatever else. So one event can create a huge ripple. Not just in my life, but a lot. An entire nation, the entire world. And because of that, we no longer can say goodbye to loved ones at the gate. Things that I got to do growing up, being able to walk a loved one to the gate. I know to a lot of you who may be listening to, so you may be too young or maybe never experienced this, but I was fucking, I got to, hug a loved one goodbye, get them on an airplane, have a safe flight, doing the Hispanic thing, the whole cross, vaya con Dios, blah, 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 whatever, that type of shit. Now we gotta, goddamn get near fucking naked and whatever else, just to go through a gate and board our airplanes. I mean, these are the things that we, that have become normal and part of the deal, but things that we, those of us who were there and have lived through that never got to see. On the other side, how a lot of, how America and the world came together, didn't matter where we were, on the left, on the fucking right, pronouns, no pronouns, whatever else. Not, people united just to fight tyranny and just the other and everything else that at the core, not only as America, but as human beings that we stand for. We were there for one another. And I mean, it just, where the fuck are we now, man? And then to add to that, only those of us who really mean, never forget, we never forget. And then we have an individual who, has been true to their faith, true to what they believe, not spreading hate, just having conversations, gets murdered, Charlie Kirk. Whether you sit on whichever side of the fucking fence, he just, getting ready to get having some discord and conversation with people at the University of Utah Valley University, and then gets shot, in front of his wife, in front of his kids, and then there's people out there, obviously, we're all trying to ask what the fuck happened, because the only way now, we all get the news is we just go on social media. Nobody else, nobody goes and turns on the TV and whatever else, because and even myself, even my wife and I was like, whoa, is this shit real? I mean, is this AI? What the fuck is going on? But no, it's real. Have we gotten so far that, we have to, take the life of somebody publicly? I mean, I just don't know. I just don't know. So it's been a very emotional, more than it already is. It's just, I just think about, that, he's a kid. I mean, this guy, Charlie Kirk, was a kid, because my son is, I mean, him and my sons are not that far apart. I mean, this guy was a father, his kids are going to watch this fucking video for the rest of their lives and, saying that this is how their father was taken, man. We need to be, what's unity versus division? I mean, we need to be, we have soldiers still deploying in the name of God, country, core, freedom, whatever else. People signing up, answering the call to be patriotic, despite their nation, not a lot of people nowadays, we're glorifying and saying some really hateful fucking things out on social media. But people are still doing that. Are we this divided that we just couldn't mourn for a man shooting and then mourn the life of those who have passed on, answering the call of our nation? Man, I grew up in a time frame where, now I'm at that age. I guess this is where how my parents, had that uncertainty, like, oh, what is going on with the world? I grew up where, with threats like the Cold War and the nuclear race between Russia and the United States in the 70s and 80s, where it was really, where it was really easy for, either nation, press a fucking button and, see, it's all gone, just see. And we come to a place where, we disarm, we do all these fucking things. And then now, we're just, it's like we're back at it again. I don't know. I'm just trying to process everything. And like everybody else, like a lot of us who want answers, maybe, we're never going to get those answers, is the bottom line. We're left with the questions. And hopefully we can start just getting together and unifying. Because, the fact of the matter is, folks, as somebody who was a tactician and obviously wrote military orders and all that stuff, the enemy is always looking for a crack in the armor. And the more divided we are, they'll infiltrate that and create even more division so that we therefore open the door to them. And that's when, things happen. Another 9/11, another, mass murder, I don't know. It's just that we need to come together. It doesn't matter where whatever, pronouns, no pronouns, left, right, yellow, blue, doesn't fucking matter, folks. But we need to get back to our core essence. It's just crazy. So I just want to, we just need to get back together to our true essence as Americans, as human beings, as as people of religion or not, but just treating each other kindly and with respect. So I think, I don't know. I just don't know what else to. I just don't know what else to fucking say. I do want to before I sign off, I want to say, in addition to this, not only my thoughts and prayer goes out to Charlie Kirk's family, his wife Erica, and their children. I want to also honor a shipment and a pioneer, Senior Chief Todd Cochran, United States Navy veteran. He was a proud grandfather, also the founder and CEO of Blueberry Podcasting. He just passed suddenly as well on September 8th at the age of 61 after visiting a family friend on the West Coast. The important part about one of the things that, and while we're honoring a fellow veteran, is that Todd actually helped lay the rails. We all podcast on. He wrote one of the very first books on podcasting in 2005. He started the People's Choice Podcast Awards and the Tech Podcast Network, and proved independent creators could earn real sponsorship. Bringing GoDaddy into the space. He also kept showing up behind the mic with Greek News Central, serving listeners for over 2 decades. In his own words, if I can do this and succeed and grind and put it on a show, basically anyone can. So his ethos were humble. He was relentless and focused on lifting others. So from one military to another, we say, hoorah, get some. Fair winds and following seas, Senior Chief Cochran. We have the watch. fuck. So with that being said, everybody, I just want to say I think this is a good place to fucking index this show today. So, Era, get some, Aistamas, Daisuki, Semper Fi, and say a prayer, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a good night.